I think this is the single most people we've ever had for an Amazing Race recap ever. Like, I don't think we've ever had more than 3. Because up until this season, I think it's literally only been me, Lana, and Jack that have been interested in doing it. So, hey, we're breaking boundaries. We're breaking records. Maybe next week we'll have 5. Hopefully Lana returns. She's not gone or, nothing is bad. She's singing at the moment. So, she's off doing her thing. And the gays are here to take over.
Well,
so,
yes.
Period. Well, yeah.
Correct.
So, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cup TV, part of the Currently Unnamed Podcast Network, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. Gay, I just have some water right now. It's towards the end of the night. I just need some water, hydration, all that lovely, wonderful jazz. But, as always, I've got my cup mug handy, of course, and we all do, period, of course, period, and I don't have all the lights like Lana does, and if I put it too far in my camera, then it just fades everything out, and I don't want to do that. So, you can get your cup mug and all of our other merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link is down in the description below, and we do ship domestically within North America and internationally, so there are no excuses. So everywhere the Amazing Race goes, you can get a cup mug, period. Even Osaka, Japan. I don't think we've shipped there yet, but you could if you live there, period.
Work. I am Brandon, professional fangirl of Concert Dragon video games. As of now, I'm not drinking anything because I'm not thirsty right now, but I will be getting water at some point of this recording. So there's that.
Hello, my name is Jack. I am the resident game designer of the panel, and I would never cause someone to go from second to last.
I better hope not, Jack.
Well, damn. Okay.
You are my reserved Amazing Race partner, so you better not.
Yeah, I forgot I said that.
You did.
I did.
It's on the internet somewhere.
It is on the internet in multiple episodes.
Well, hello everybody. It's your favorite Black queer content creator, KaMorian, aka Stalking Alien. So glad to be back, guys, and especially one of my favorite game shows, The Amazing Race. And this episode was definitely crazy. It definitely shows how your place in this game can go from the top to the bottom like that. So, and I'm not gonna lie, that intersection twist. Oh my god. Let's talk about it.
We're going to talk about the intersection.
We're
going to talk about the intersection. I can't wait to talk about it. This episode was fun. It is episode 2, obviously, of The Amazing Race, season 37. We've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about, and we're going to dive into all of it. Before we do, though, make sure to subscribe. And if I haven't already mentioned, subscribe, because Lana would be very upset with me if I did not mention that here at the Cup TV, we are on a mission to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And that means we will be able to do a lot of really fun, cool, extra content for you all over here at the Cup TV. So if you haven't already subscribed in the time that I'm rambling on to you, go do it. Okay, thanks. Appreciate it. Also, like the video. Let us know all your thoughts on the episode down in the comments. We want to hear from you. You can check out the description as well. For all of our other channels, our Patreon, our social media, all that kind of lovely, fun stuff. So yeah, check out all of our stuff. We put out a lot of content practically every single day across all 4 of our channels. So check it out. But where we left off in the last leg, we did our first leg in Hong Kong, where we lost some old men. But then also, we lost mothers. Mothers departed us. Mothers departed us too soon. Jackie and Lauren are gone. I'm literally so emo. Like, I love them. Did I expect them to go super far in the race? No. But am I emo nonetheless? Yes. But we lost Mark and Larry and Jackie and Lauren in our first split fork in the road leg in Hong Kong. And as we start this episode, we find out teams are headed to Osaka, Japan. But we knew they were headed there because we, knew from last week's trailer, and we found out preseason that they were going to Osaka, Japan. So it all makes sense. Obviously, Carson and Garrett, or not Carson and Garrett. We're Carson and Jack. This is my first episode talking about Amazing Race this season, so names are still not there for me.
But you forgot mine. Like, the name is not only there, but in a second place on the screen.
You think I care?
That is a very valid point. Continue.
No, obviously I care, Jack. I love you dearly. You're my reserved Amazing Race partner. But yes, Carson and Jack do leave first. All of the teams head out eventually, and we are back finally to booking your own flights. And everyone's doing their own flight situation. I'm so happy about it finally. Like, I loved the era of chartered plane Amazing Race. I really did, because it literally just equalized every single leg of the race. It was like, okay, no, every leg is an individual microcosm, and I really liked that. But what I love about Amazing Race the most is the strategy behind trying to get better flights, trying to get a leg up on other people. Like, the strategy part of Amazing Race is what I love the most. And what thrilled me the most in this entire episode, as teams were coming in, getting their flights, doing their whole situation, is once we get to the airport, the combination of Melinda and Erica and Pops and Jeff holding out hope to get on that second flight, and they end up getting it. I love to see it. I loved to see it.
Hey, if it gets there faster, it gets them faster. So, and I'm like, I enjoyed that so much, because like I really love when they like actually book with the travel agency first and then actually check into the actual desk, be like, hey, are there still flights available here? So,
hey, anything available? Hey,
hey, how y'all doing?
But yeah, so we end up with 3 teams are on the first flight, and it's Carson and Jack, it's Ernest and Bridget, and it's Brett and Mark. Practically everyone else ends up on this middle flight, which is only 30 minutes behind, so not too terrible. And then we have Scott and Lori and Bernie and Kerrigan on this third flight. And oh boy, Bernie and Kerrigan are fighting. Out of nowhere?
I think it's very much boil over from the last leg. I am 90% sure I know who I'm talking about here. Kerrigan is just pissed that Bernie basically is taking control, and feels like they are basically just bringing a second person along on the Amazing Race, kicking and screaming because they couldn't go alone.
It's Bernie and Kerrigan.
Yes. And Kerrigan is tired of feeling not heard. So they come to the resolution of, and once again, I may have the names mixed up, Kerrigan kind of being like, I'm going to say what I need to during this leg, and I'm going to take control, and if this doesn't work, we'll just figure it out.
I like these two. I really do.
2 rounds.
Thought after I thought after episode 1, I was like, oh, these are some strong women. Like, and I love supporting women. Love supporting women. I don't know how long they're going to make it on this race.
Yeah.
I'm worried now. I'm worried.
Yeah, I think like a key thing for like this game, you gotta have really just, I think, trust within your partner and a partnership. Or really kind of have like that strong kind of bond. I think it's just one thing, just like arguing, it's kind of like a disconnect, and it kind of ruin, I think you gotta be on one accord. I think that's an importance, and not being on one accord can really affect you in the race, depending on whatever the challenges may be.
And they said outside of the race they fight all the time. It's like, okay, so then why did you sign up for this? Like, if y'all know you fight outside of this, you're gonna continue. What? Oh Lord. Okay. Great. Cool. Love it. Wonderful. So yes, once everyone lands in Osaka, Japan from their flights, we're heading to Sutenkaku Tower to get their clue, to then go to Namba Hatch to get their next clue, where we find out about the intersection. Some people keep their cabs in between. Han and Holden do not. It's like, baby, it's the first route info. You know they're gonna send you somewhere else. If you don't see a whole bunch of hullabaloo going on, you're driving up. You can see what's going on around this tower. There's not a whole lot of hullabaloo going on around the tower. Just tell your taxi to hold on 3 minutes. We'll be right back, and we're gonna pay you more money. Because we're gonna need you to drive us somewhere else. Like, keep the cab. In almost all instances, keep the cab. Unless they tell you to not keep the cab. Keep the cab. Like, what?
Basically, the only time you need to ever drop a cab is if you know you are going to you're stopping here to do a challenge and you're going to be gone for a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, if you're unsure, tell the cab driver, stop. Just stay put.
Give me like 3 minutes. I'll be right back. I'm going to take my stuff with me just in case. But hold on just a minute, because I might need you to go somewhere else real quick. And I will give you money. Like, any cab driver around the world will be like, oh, more money? Great. I'm on board. Love
exactly.
it. And you know they're getting paid for appearance fees too, because they have to be on camera. So it's like, hey, it works out for everybody. But once they make it to Namba Hatch, teams encounter the intersection. Ooh, a twist I literally didn't remember. Legitimately no recollection of the intersection.
I don't blame you.
But you were saying, Jack, before we started filming, the last time we saw it was season 16?
Yes, the last time we have seen this twist is 2010.
Oh, damn.
So 15 years ago is the last time we've seen this twist in Amazing Race 16 when they were in Germany.
Party. So obviously, as the intersection goes, it is two teams teaming up for an extended period of time. In some cases, I saw it was an entire leg. In some cases, it was a single challenge, as was the case for this intersection roadblock, where the teams are asked who's ready to beat the competition. The intersected team members have to perform a taiko drum routine alongside a drum group before receiving their next clue. And our intersected teams, not in order of showing up, but just in general, were Alyssa and Mike, Bernie and Scott, Mark and Ernest, Jack and Jonathan, Courtney and Jeff, and Holden and Erica. Now, this is my challenge. This is my challenge.
Oh, baby.
This is my challenge. I would have eaten this challenge up to KaMorian. Like, I was a percussionist growing up. So immediately I was like, they started playing and I was like, oh, let me get the rhythm real quick. Like, I was trying to do it while I was watching. Like any rhythm based, any percussion based, I'm like, ooh, that's my bread and butter. That's where I want to be. Yes, I love this.
Yeah,
Love this.
yeah, definitely agree. Because like what Mark said, like for me, I would be in band doing the arts in high school. I think that really comes. I think pretty much I love performance challenges on this show because like I will excel at those. Like I think I can like get like in one like getting like at least 3 tries, I can nail it and like I'm good. But I
Right.
think the only issue about this thing is you might have that experience, but the person you're with might not have it. So it's a challenge. So having to do have pretty much do what you know, but also help your partner match that and both to see, and we definitely see one team. It definitely is definitely that was the case the whole time.
Poor Mark.
Yeah.
No
Poor
problem.
Mark.
Yeah, Ernest tried his best because I was just like,
Why did they let Ernest do this one?
Personally, you gotta pick a team and make it. You might like be like, "Oop, I fucked up," but you know what? I'm still doing it right. I'm still doing
Right.
it. Just
Because
pick a
they
team and make
definitely
it.
let some teams through that definitely fucked up a few things. Like,
Definitely.
I was gonna say because I was like going through all those attempts. Like I think it was like at the 5th attempt for Ernest and Mark. I was like, wait, I thought they did good. Like,
meanwhile, Mike done fucked up a few times, and he made it through no problem on like his 4th or 5th try. It was like,
Yeah.
Like if I gotta be like real on this, say if this wasn't an intersection, I'm just keep it real. I feel like Brett and Mark would have been the first team done. It would have been done.
Yeah.
I feel like they would have won the leg if it wasn't an
They
intersection.
would have won. I think
Like,
they would have won.
Literally,
They would've
I
won.
think this is an
Yeah.
entirely different leg if it's separated. Or
It
straight
was.
up. I mean, I don't think anyone could have been paired with Ernest to make this better, except maybe Scott.
Scott.
Maybe.
I feel like Scott would have
And
helped.
in that case, I think it balances out to an average team performance
Yeah.
versus like they have to do maybe 7, 8 attempts versus 17. Is it 17 or 18?
It was 18. They got it right. They got it together. It was 18 attempts.
Which
Meanwhile,
is double every other team at least.
and then Bernie and Scott get it on the first try.
No,
which
I
I thought
think
they didn't, but like when you can tell they like delayed that, I was like, wait, they got it on the first.
I was
try.
like, y'all better work.
I
Y'all
like,
better work.
dang.
The universe was working so magically in that moment for Bernie and Kerrigan, especially because the way that Bernie was paired with Scott in this moment, just like getting all of the reassurance she needed to just like knock this out of the park, especially after what had been happening with Kerrigan, like it just got her out of her head. She was able to slay this challenge so easily, and they were able to slay the rest of the episode. I was like, okay, I'm here for it. I'm happy about it. I loved seeing my favorite part of the episode is we have Courtney and Jasmine waiting, who, by the way, are my favorite team. The lesbians are my favorite. Shocker. Shocking to no one. Shocking to no one at all. The lesbians are my favorite. But when Pops and Jeff show up and they realize, they're like, hurry. Yep. And they pair up. I'm like, yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. They did it pretty swiftly as well. They were pretty good at it. Holden and Erica were fine at best.
I mean, everyone is fine when you compare them to Ernest and Mark.
To 18.
Yeah. At least from the notes I have here, Jack and Jonathan and Alyssa and Mike both got out relatively quickly on attempt 3. Courtney and Jeff took a little bit longer with attempt 8, and Erica and Holden one less attempt on attempt 7. But Bernie and Scott, complete outliers. First one and done, and Ernest and Mark 18.
Yeah. Now, who would we all want to be intersected with here?
Personally, Mark. I mean, I want to go to Brett and Mark. They're the performers. Like, that's kind of like strategy. Pit like the two like who performs and stuff. Like Mark, I mean, there would have been an easy sweep with Mark. Like I think definitely
or Jonathan.
or Jonathan. Or like,
Yeah,
even
Jonathan was in the zone for this, and I was
and then
so
Carson
happy.
and Jack too, because they're good at performing too as well. Like Carson, and Jack, like they're like a good duo
Jack
as well.
killed it. Like Jack and
Jack
Jonathan like locked in immediately, slayed it. Like I was impressed.
But I would like definitely say, like, far as like performance, like we had to like perform or do any dances. I think Brett or Mark are the ones to watch because they're definitely going to be a threat as far as challenges though.
Do we think Bridget would have done better?
I
Presumably, but
think,
much
yeah.
My
better.
gut is yes. My
Yeah,
gut
she
is
was.
My gut is yes.
definitely yes.
My God is I thought Bridget would actually one of the.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw in the beginning of the episode when we saw Bridget rapping, so.
Oh, true. Bridget rapping at the start of the episode was adorable.
Why
I
it was.
loved her. I was waiting for that moment because we got it in the preseason trailer, and then I was like, oh no, we're getting it. Oh no. No. I was like, we're gonna get this episode. No. But we do see Jack and Jonathan are the first to head out. So they are the first two teams to head out from the roadblock, headed to the detour, no longer intersected. We're heading to Dotonbori Bridge to then get the detour, Mochi or Mawashi, where teams either have to make Mochi or wrap. Jesus Christ, words are hard tonight. Wrap a Mawashi on each other and then push a sumo wrestler out of the ring. How fun.
Both detours look a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah.
One looks more fun than the other because one doesn't require
Yes.
like
One also
effort.
doesn't require, accidentally smashing your teammates' hands to bits on leg 2.
Yeah.
Because that's what I would do. I 100% would accidentally smash Logan's hand.
Wow, Jack.
I don't have that kind of timing precision. So we're not doing
think
that.
You think I would let you hold a giant mallet?
That is also a good point.
I would be the one with the mallet getting out my frustration.
And that would be a valid point.
Thank you. I don't know. Which one would y'all have picked? I think it really would have been an in the moment decision for me. Neither of them really personally lean like my skill sets necessarily. Like they're both pretty equal for me.
Yeah, equal. I just know definitely I probably would have preferred the Mochi more because but we got to the Mawashi. I think it does the details of how they do the Mawashi.
Yeah.
I think this key to especially like someone had like multiple attempts to make that perfect. I think for me just doing it's hard labor, but still like it's making like small Mochis not that hard. Make like smaller things.
Yeah.
So make it small. Would have been done.
Mm-hmm. For me, like if I wanted to do something quickly, it would have been Washi.
Yeah.
But knowing seeing how they struggled, like maybe picking Mochi could have been another good option too. And we did kind of see that.
Because it's a somewhat like it's a more fixed time task. Like this is one of those classic Amazing Race decisions where it's like a more fixed time task versus there's like with the Mawashi, there was a bit more risk versus reward of like if you get the fine details quickly, you can get out of there no problem and do very, very well. But if you don't get it, baby, you're not going to get it. Like that. And it came down to that for some teams. But Jack, what about you?
And that is exactly why I am steering hard away from Mawashi. That kind of, I would rather do something that is, you can visually look at it and say, yeah, that's good. Versus have very fine details that is like, I do not know if I will be physically able to do that.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't know that I would want to wrap one of those around you, Jack. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, no, that feels a little too close for comfort. I'm going to be real honest.
Yeah.
But granted, the other notes are we would also be in a hotel room most of the time. So at that point, we're kind of there already.
I feel like, well, okay. Also, caveat. Would we have gotten to eat the mochi afterwards? Because if that's on the table...
If that is on the table, then, I mean...
I'm picking mochi every day of the damn week.
So both of us look at it and say, food? Free food?
Food?
Give.
No,
Oh
like,
no, anything food or anything like performance, I'm in. Like those are my tabs. Oh my
no, yeah, like I was thinking about, I was just like, we could eat this. So
Mhm.
And no one did, right?
yeah, no one did.
No, it didn't.
Mochi are great, y'all. I don't know. I mean, there were only 3 teams that did it, which leads me to yeah. So we ended up with 3 teams that went to do Mochi. It was Courtney and Jasmine, Melinda and Erica, and Pops and Jeff. Everybody else went to Mawashi. Some teams were struggling, some teams were not struggling. Han and Holden struggling.
Oh, that was crazy.
Douchebag Dude Bros struggling.
No, the second time, like, goodness gracious.
Yep.
Oh my god.
And then one of them making a comment like, I touched places where I shouldn't have touched. And I was just like,
well, they are brothers, so I understand that.
Yeah,
sentiment for
no,
sure.
that I think has an extra link.
yeah.
I am happy that they are not dominating in classic douchebag dude bro fashion. I'll say that.
Yeah.
It's very refreshing, frankly. Frankly, it's very refreshing to not have them dominating the race so far. And then some teams, though Brett and Mark got in very, very late, they still had, 4 or 5 teams there when they got to the detour, and they slayed.
Their first time, the first try, Mike's like, we got this. We know this stuff. Mark's like, we get it.
Literally, I was like, Mark works on Drag Race Live. Obviously, he's gonna know how to put on something similar to this. Also, do we all love the fact that it is not been mentioned at all that he works at Drag Race Live? Like, did they not get the rights? I'm like, they didn't get the rights from World of Wonder, did they?
I don't think they can. It's not.
But it's
not
Viacom.
Yeah, I was gonna say Paramount Viacom.
It might be Viacom, but I feel like it also leaches into. I want to say it's at the Flamingo, right?
It's at the Flamingo, yeah.
They might also have to talk to the Flamingo to talk about it.
Oh,
so there might be a second party that looks at it and is like, "You're not showing anything. You don't have like."
Hell, it might be the city of Las Vegas themselves. Like, who knows? I do just love that it's been expressly mentioned that Brett works for Cirque du Soleil, and it's like, and Mark's a Vegas performer working several nights a week. I'm like, yeah, he does seven shows a week, 5 nights a week.
Yes.
This is not a Drag Race Live ad. I do.
But now it is.
Well, no, it is.
Well, okay. And they're doing their 1,000th show this weekend.
So,
yes.
Wow. Are they streaming it live, right? They're streaming it live?
Yeah, they're showing it live on WowPercent Plus.
That's actually cool.
And
with commentary. I think the commentary is by Derek and Kennedy.
Understandable. Understandable.
Oh, God.
I'm mad I won't be there because Mother Kylie is there. And it's the only time coming up she's gonna be there, and I'm annoyed, but it's fine. Anyway, that's been our Drag Race interlude because there's Drag Race Live people on this season of The Amazing Race.
We must support
Shakira Crystal and all of his adventures here on this race. Even if it is struggling. Well, he wasn't struggling, his partner was. But yes, some teams struggle, some teams do other things. Were there any other moments? Standout highlight moments, big moments? I don't remember.
I mean, the only one I can think of is Scott and Lori. Once again, Scott and Lori smash the detour, and then they smash Mawashi. It's not even like a second. Basically, John and Anna get out the door, and then right after, Alyssa and Josiah and Scott and Lori are also out the door. Like, it is very close.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
Coming from a team that was basically an hour 30 behind everyone else, that is incredible to make up.
I said it preseason, and I am so mad I didn't draft them Because I said they were giving Penn and Kim vibes. And
If I was here, they would be drafted.
I'm so mad.
I know.
I had this feeling that they were giving some good Penn and Kim vibes. And I was like, are we going to get a Penn and Kim rewind a couple seasons later? I think we might. But I will say, on a whole, this season feels very competitive already.
Yes.
Like, we were talking about it a little bit before we started filming, but this season feels like I have only realistically ruled out maybe one team that I think doesn't have a shot of winning.
Yeah.
Two at most.
There's definitely one or two teams that I can think of that probably don't have a shot moving forward, at least compared to like the talent of the other teams.
Yeah. Like, there's just a lot of really well-rounded teams, as we've seen 2 legs in. Like, and the fact that, like, the standings have almost flip-flopped is kind of wild. But we do get our first place getting to the map first on their anniversary. How adorable for Jonathan and Anna. How adorable. I just personally wanted them to jam him all season, because I wanted to see what would happen if they just kept getting second place.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
It's like they just have them pulled off to the side for like no reason for good.
Hey, you got
like
a penalty. Why is that? Why do I have a penalty?
You
Here you go.
forgot a clue, and we need you to
Literally
go get it.
No.
But you can't get it because we burned it.
You can't get it because it's at the bottom of the ocean.
Oh
Whoops.
Okay, now you're team number 2. No, I appreciate, for a presumably straight man, how in tune with his emotions he is. That's what I will say. Him, and I will say Josiah as well.
Mm-hmm.
There are some presumably straight men on this season that are very in touch with their emotions, and I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that.
I will say Jonathan did lighten up this episode than last episode.
Yeah.
Oh, because baby, I wasn't here last week to talk about him. I could not stand the man last week. Could not. I was like, he is coming on too strong.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the character and the edit that we're seeing from Jonathan this week was very, very nice.
Yeah.
I like Anna. I think she's perfectly lovely.
Mhm.
They're giving good, solid, consistent couple that might end up getting fourth because of something that happens. Like, it's not going to be their fault they get fourth. You know what I mean? Like, that's the energy they're giving for me. But they win on their anniversary, and they get Expedia 1 key, whatever, cash, because they can't give them money anymore, so they're giving them credit to do things. To go to Tanzania. How fun. Good for you. Good for you.
Going to Mount Kilimanjaro, and I'm like, oh, and 10 days too. This is
Period.
That's like a good trip, especially because they can basically be like, yeah, no, we'll bring our kids. Like the girls will.
Oh no, it's a trip for 2.
Because they're kind of
they have some of it paid off, and the other
they could make children on the trip. That's the alternative.
Wow. Yeah.
Anyway. I don't know why that was my first thought, but word. Anyway. So yes, Jonathan and Anna first place. A strong second place after being an hour and a half behind Scott and Lori. Good for you. Good for you. Third place, Alyssa and Josiah. They're fine.
Yeah.
They're fine, right? They're fine.
Yeah, I like them. I like them.
They seem sweet.
Yeah, they're sweet.
I'm not getting much from them.
I mean, we did get something from last episode saying like how Alyssa's more serious and then Josiah's more the goofy side, so they balance each other out.
I'm not getting that.
I mean, the fact that he was like living his dream, like wanting to be like with a
Oh,
sumo
the sumo part was cute. That was
Yeah.
cute. That was cute. Fourth place, as I've dubbed them now, as we saw in this episode, the Twinks.
Yeah,
The Twinks. The Twinks.
I'm here for the gays this season. They're cool. They're so
So
fun.
many gays this season. We live.
Yes.
What is it? 4 gay teams?
Carson
3 at
Jack,
least.
Brett,
Three.
Courtney, Jasmine, and after this leg, Nick and Mike.
No.
We both get
I
one. We both get one.
I was really about to counter that with something. I'm not saying that on the internet.
Wow.
Nope. Fifth place, coming back, doing some good work on some mochis, Melinda and Erica.
Yeah.
Good for you. Sixth place, Courtney and Jasmine. Woo lesbians. Love it.
Let's go.
Pops and Jeff coming in at 7th. Woo.
Mhm.
Pops and Jeff. Bernie and Kerrigan, despite everything that went on in this leg for them, they did a pretty good job at the Mawashi as well and ended up coming 8th. And I think for everything they went through in this leg, I think that's maybe the best they could have asked for.
Yeah.
Hey, they were happy about it. So
Yeah. Strong recovery from Brett and Mark. End up in 9th. Very thrilled.
Yes.
Woo gayed up. Nick and Mike end up coming in 10th, and we end up with a showdown between Ernest and Bridget, Han and Holden. And despite getting 3rd in the last leg, it's Ernest and Bridget that we lose here. And honestly, this is no shade to either one of them, especially not Ernest. I will say for me personally, I think it would have felt wrong if it was anyone else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no shade at all. They seem lovely.
Yeah.
But it would have felt wrong if it was anyone else based on what happened.
Yeah. I just really felt, I was really felt Ernest like the inner saboteur get to him. And I think that really was his downfall, just that challenge. It was just his inner saboteur. And not recover after that. I feel like if Brett and Mark, after the trial was over, they came back, they were connected, they got into it, they clocked in, and they were to recover. So it really just showed that it really was. I think I'm not really putting a on Ernest. At the end of the day, is you tried different things you did before, so it's an experience. You're learning. So I'm giving his props for really doing his best. It's unfortunate that that inner saboteur in your head. It's just like when one missed thing can really affect your place in the race, and we've seen it. Every single season it has happened.
Yeah.
When you think you're in the lead, boom, you got
one wrong move
and it's over.
Over.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be on your toes all the time. You got to be really like one accord with the team. So it's unfortunate, but I think, like I said, Brett and Mark probably would have won this leg had it not been an intersection. And it really just shows that these twists can mess you up, and it always gets to them.
I love the twist. I love the increasing game mechanic. I think, Jack, that's probably what you were going to touch on too.
I was going to say, if Carson and Jack were just faster, Brett and Mark probably win the leg because Mark is then paired with Jonathan. Like, literally, it is
true.
It's just one with the intersection. It's just one bad partner, and this was just not Ernest's detour. This is not Ernest Roadblock, and unfortunately, it does feel right via the episode, but it does suck because I wanted to see this team keep going because they were this is one of the teams that we have that does not fight at all. They are always going to back each other.
Now, here's the funny thing to think about. So, Phil did mention during the intersection part that they all have to mutually agree. So Ernest and Bridget could have waited, like in a different scenario, to be like, they could have waited, and Brett and Mark and Carson and Jack did agree that if they showed up to the intersection together, they were going to do it together. And the fact that Brett and Mark got there before Carson and Jack did, and then Carson and Jack had to wait, but they still did really well with Jonathan and Anna. So
right. Well, we know next episode we're staying in Japan. I don't think we're staying in Osaka necessarily. I'm not sure. I like what they've been doing with splitting a country over two legs and then doing a more like urban leg and a more rural leg. I really like that balance. I will say on a whole, I think a lot of the changes that Amazing Race has made post-COVID have been really, really beneficial to kind of like refreshing Amazing Race, and it does feel refreshed and different enough. So just shout out to Amazing Race for that. But we know the title is chaotic, crazy. That's what we're used to. So that's what we have to expect in the next episode.
My guess is that either Brett or Mark says that. Like, honestly,
I'm fully expecting Scott or Lori.
That too. Either one I could say.
That's where I'm thinking. I'm like, that's either that or like maybe Bernie and Kerrigan. Even they got the title this episode, so who knows? But
yes.
And then our draft standings. Lana is just not having a great time in this draft or in drafts in general right now. I'm feeling pretty great.
You still have all four, so
I am still I still have a full team on both Survivor and Amazing Race, and I'm really happy about that. So I do think one of Lana's teams is due for a really deep run.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe only one.
I only said one.
Yeah.
I only think one.
Yeah, I definitely see, like, I think I know from Logan, your team, I think Carson and Jack is definitely making, like, I think at least top three. I see them make it to the finale. I see Brent and Mark making the finale as well. I think they are a good team, I think, overall. And then Jonathan, Anna, you said fourth place. And then one more, I will either say it's between my black queens, or I think it might be Alyssa and Josh. One of those two teams, they're wild cards for me. Yeah, that's how I see so far.
I could see a universe where my entire draft team is the top four. And I'm not just saying that because they're my draft team. I'm saying because these are four very well-rounded teams. I think especially I would put my money on Carson and Jack and Pops and Jeff. I think those two teams are really, really strong. I think Alyssa and Josiah have a lot of strengths too. I would like to see where their weaknesses are. To see exactly where like they might struggle come later legs. Bernie and Kerrigan are really the only team I have that I think might start to struggle as we get down. I don't think they're going to go home in the next couple of legs, but I think once we get down to like 8 and 7, I think there are some other teams that are just going to be a little bit more efficient at the race than they are. Yeah, I would say if I had to predict top 3 right now, since KaMorian did it, I'll do it too. And then I'll ask Brandon and Jack. I will say, I think top 3 is going to be Carson and Jack. I'm going to go Carson and Jack, Pops and Jeff. And, oh no, am I about to predict 3 all-male teams?
Oh,
gross.
No.
Yeah, because I'm going to go Brett and Mark. Gross. But 67% of those people are gay, so that's fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
In my universe, and because we kind of, I felt bad for like leaving them out. I think Scott and Lori has a shot.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Scott and Lori, you're so right.
And then obviously I'm not just saying because they're on my draft, because I do see like them very strong, Brett and Mark as well.
Totally.
And then the last team, well, this is tough.
You can and you will, Brandon.
Now, mind you, again, anything can happen this season, and and because I drafted them, Melinda and Erica, because
they showed that they're a savvy team. They showed that they're a savvy team. And what Melinda said in this episode, I really appreciated. she was like, I know there are going to be some things that we're just not going to be as good at as everyone else. Amazing Race is not about running the physical race. It's about the smarts too. And I really liked hearing that from her. I could see it. I wouldn't be mad at that. Jack.
Okay. I think the first one, they've just gotten a good enough edit at this point and have done really well. Jack and Carson, I feel like it's a little too obvious of a read. I also think that Jonathan and Anna have, like, where Jack and Carson have dominated, Jonathan and Anna have torn through. Like, they are 100% the team to beat as long as they are not fighting with each other or trying to be perfectionists about getting first every leg.
Yep.
The final team is Scott and Lori.
Yeah.
I have a feeling, just because of how well not only they're communicating, but how well they look at a bad situation and go, okay, let's do it. Let's get to the top. And can do it like that. That is what I can see as a dark horse team that makes it to the end.
And I think I'll speak for all of us when an additional top 3 would be all of the gay teams would also be great.
Yes.
That'd be great. But yes, so that is that on episode 2 of The Amazing Race. We'll be back next week in some shape or form or fashion with all of us talking about episode 3 of The Amazing Race. Thank you for joining us. Subscribe if you have watched us for 47 minutes and you're clearly entertained. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like, share with all your friends. We cover a lot of TV content here at the Cup TV. We cover a lot of content overall on all 4 of our channels. So make sure to check out all of those channels. The links for those are down in the description below, where you can also find our audio podcast links, our Patreon, our social media, and where you can get your merch, including but not limited to Cup mug. And with all that being said, we are going to go ahead and get out of here. So cheers, racers.
Cheers.
Cheers.